presented as to whether America should join the war or not. The most inflammatory, perhaps, was the sinking of the Lusitania, a British passenger ship which had many American passengers aboard. Through the help of the Jewish-controlled American media, it became widespread knowledge that Germany had sunk this ship due to its hostilities with Britain. However, many historians now accept this act to have been a false flag, used as a provocation in getting America into the war. Equally significant, before the tragedy, Winston Churchill, who was an agent of the British Jewish banking elites, who at the time was the head of the British Admiralty, had ordered a close study to be done to determine what the political impact would be if a passenger ship was sunk with Americans on board. By the time America had joined the war, Japan and many other nations had done so also. This led to an all-out, banking-financed world war. It is said that perhaps Nicholas II did not perceive just how big this war was going to be, but with the war raging on, it soon became obvious. The Russian army, who was mostly made up of peasants and the working class, who were undertrained and not very well equipped, this resulted in many unnecessary deaths and food shortages that prolonged into 1916. By the 25th of June, Nicholas II, Tsar of Russia, issued a decree ordering the conscription of Central Asians and Southern Russians into the war, in hopes of bolstering the chances at defeating their opponents. Quote, "Of course, the Jews in the front could not break their ties with their neighbouring villages, interrupt the Jewish post, and turn into the enemies of their co-religionists. Moreover, in the eyes of the Jews in the Pale of the Settlement, the Germans appeared as a European nation of high culture, much different from the Russians." At that time, Times correspondent Stephen Graham reported, as soon as the smoke of a German ship appeared at the horizon, the Jewish population of Libava forgot the Russian language and began to speak German. If they had to leave, the Jews preferred to go to the German side. The hostility displayed by the Russian army and then their deportation could only provoke their bitterness and cause some of them to collaborate openly with the Germans. Unquote. At the start of 1916, one of the men who fled into exile was a guy named Lenin, taking up residence in Switzerland. As always, his mind stayed focused on revolutionary politics. During this period, he wrote and published Imperialism, the Highest Stage of Capitalism, 1916. Despite popular belief, Lenin was actually Jewish. We know this to be true because of newly released documentation by Russia. Lenin, whose real name was Vladimir Ilyich Ulyanov, chose the pseudonym Lenin in 1901 following his Siberian exile for attempting to publish an illegal newspaper called The Workers' Cause. Lenin's grandfather and mother were Ashkenazi Jews. Under pressure by the communist government, Lenin's Jewish roots were kept secret until after his death. Lenin was also a crypto-Jew who tried to conceal his Jewishness by converting to Christianity in his early days, as did most of his family. He came from a poor Jewish family and was, according to his baptismal certificate, the son of Moses Blank, a native of Zhytomyr, a province of Ukraine. By